Okay, I guess I'll do a part video to this video. So this hop fight, it took some. Now that I'm looking at it, it should have been easy. It took me a solid 3 or 4 tries with this hop fight. It wasn't as hard as Nessa. This was like the second hardest. Up to this point, this was the second hardest fight, in my opinion. I don't know why. I feel like it should have been a cakewalk, because I had flying types for the Trevenant. I had water types for the Heatmore. But for some reason, I guess it was that Snorlax and that Bulltown that gave me so much trouble. I remember just having a hard time with this fight. So, okay, up next is... I'm trying to think. No, Hop, this wasn't the next fight. No. Oh, no, I'm getting all mixed up. Okay, so, pretend I said anything about that fight. So after Alistar was the next Bead fight, Bead 3. So Bead 3... God, why does he only put 2? Why does he's so strange. Why Bead is strange with his moves. He only puts Dazzling Gleam and Psybeam on his Hatchram. I think this fight was it wasn't hard. The Alistar fight before it was way harder by a long shot. But it was the hardest Bead fight. Now that I think about it, I think this is the hardest Bead fight in general. Bead is a very easy character to fight. Like, I wish they made him harder. Because Bead is my... I don't know if I like Bead or Hop more as a rival. I think... Even though Hop... it's interesting that Hop changes his team a lot. And it's interesting that he has a legendary and all that. And he grows as a character. I'm just I just have a soft spot for jerk rivals. But I think this was the hardest Bead fight in the game, even though it was not even hard. Yeah, this fight gave me no trouble at all. Like, it took out a couple of my pokes, but yeah. So after Bead was Opal, I believe. So let me go to Opal. Opal was hard. Maybe Opal was slightly harder than Alistar. So, up to this point, I would say Ness is still the hardest fight, up to this point. Alistar maybe was the second hardest. I think Opal was slightly harder than... I know she does get, like... I didn't know this was the first time I was playing Sword and Shield. I watched other people play it. I don't know, I didn't know the answers to her questions, so maybe if I knew the answers to her questions, the fight would have been easier. But I didn't know the answers to her questions, so the fight might have been harder because of that. I think this fight was slightly harder than the Alistar fight. Maybe I'm not sure. My memory's a little fuzzy on that, so I'm not. They might be on the same level. I remember her Togekiss giving me... Oh, yes, her Togekiss with Ancient. Ancient Power is my worst enemy. I have a hard time with Ancient Power in the Fire-type run in Fire Red I was doing. With, like, this stupid Lance's stupid Aerodactyl. The Togekiss gave me a hard time. I guess the Alcremie did also. I forget if the Weezing or Mawile did, but I know the Alcremie and Togekiss gave me a hard time. It's weird that this is the only Opal fight. This is the only I wish there was a rematch with Opal, but no, this is the only Opal fight. And after that is the Bead fight. The Hop fight. After that's the, like, I don't know. Is Hop harder than... It's hard to tell. Like, Alistair, now that I'm thinking about it, because I said earlier that Bead was the hardest fight yet at this point. Now that I'm thinking about it, Opal was pretty hard. I think maybe Hop was slightly harder than Alistair and Opal. It's hard to tell, but if he was harder, it was not by much, but he might have been the hardest between the three. But Nessa is, at this point, it was still the hardest fight, because I didn't have many options against her. I still debate whether... We'll get to Melanie soon, but... In fact, Melanie is up next, I think. Yeah, is Melanie up next? I don't think... Was there another Marnie fight? I think the next Marnie fight was before Spike Myth. Yeah, I think Melanie was up next. I could be wrong. For some reason, I'm thinking there's a Marnie fight. But I think Melanie is up next. Melanie was hell. Maybe Melanie might have been harder than Nessa. I don't know. Nessa, you don't have many options, but Melanie has a lot of options against you, so it's hard to compare the two battles. But Frostmoth, gave me a little difficulty, but it wasn't that hard. But the Darmanitan, the Eastcute, I don't know how to pronounce that penguin thing, and the Lapras, all those three, that's like the unholy trinity right there. First off, I think I might have evolved my team. I almost caught every single flying type in the game at this point. Like, my team had, I think it was Sigilith. I had Woobat. Woobat's evolution. Does Woobat... I forget how I had Swoobat, I had Sigilith, I had Pelipper, I had Crownot, I had Driflim, I think. I'm trying to think. Well, of course I had Corviknight, as I mentioned earlier. I had more. I had Ninjask. I got Gyarados later on, but I didn't get Gyarados yet at this point. Gyarados becomes very useful later on. I feel like I got another one. Oh yeah, I got Noctowl. I also got Unfezant. I really wanted Unfezant to be useful. It just wasn't useful enough to use. It didn't get enough physical attacks, and it always... I don't know why they put so many special attacks on Unfezant. Is that the final evolution name? I think that's the final evolution. I might be mixing up with the second evolution name for Pidove. But Unfezant has so many special attacks, but its special stat is trash, but it has a good physical stat, but it barely gets any physical attack. It's just... I want to use it... I have a soft spot for Unfezant. I know a lot of people hate Unfezant, but... What the... A lot of people hate Unfezant, but I have a soft spot for it. Maybe I'm a little nostalgic for it since I watched the Gen 5 anime a lot. I have a soft spot for Unfezant, but I just couldn't make use of it. I had Noctowl. I couldn't make much use of Noctowl either. There's stuff I'm missing. I'm not thinking. There's something that left my brain. I feel like there's stuff that left. Because my final Hall of Fame team, my final team, is Driflin, Gyarados. No, what's the evolution of Volibee? I forget the evolution of Volibee's name, but that Pokemon, and I also had, like, I'm thinking of my final team. I had, I don't know, for some reason, I kind of had to choose between Swoobat and Sigilyph. I chose Swoobat because it just so happened to have, Energy Ball. I feel like Sigilyph would have been the better choice, but I don't know, I just put Energy Ball on Swoobat, and then Energy Ball was pretty useful against Leon's. We'll get there when we get there, but I just want to think of my final team that I had, so I can, organize my thoughts better. I don't think I had Ninjask in my final team. I do think I had a... Did I have Vespa... I got Vespiquen later on. Whatever. Enough about my team. My team... I can't think of my team exactly, but I listed a bunch of Pokemon I used. So, yeah, this was hell. This was on the same level as Nessa. I can't think of what was harder, this or the Nessa fight. I really can't. I can't think of what was harder. I wish I kept track of how many deaths, so I can tell. But, after this fight was the next top fight. I think this top fight was hard. I think the hardest top fight, even though Hop gets a legendary later on, I think the hardest top fight was this top fight right here with, where he switches up his team. I think, yeah, I think this team, even looking at this team, it just looks so much worse. Like, I don't know how good Pincurchin is. I don't know how good it is. Maybe it's secretly top tier Pokemon and we don't even know. How do you even get that Pokemon? I might consider using that on a second playthrough of Pokemon Shield. Like, if I do, like... I might consider using that sometime, because I'm interested in seeing what it does, but... Yeah, his second team is just so... Like, I guess that he... What? This double is trash. He, like... I used a Drifloon against this double. It has no way to hit ghost types. It only has fighting and normal attacks. The Trevenant was such a much better option than double. Even though technically double is a starter and he abandons a starter, but alright, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Okay, so this, I think I lost in this fight. I forget why. I guess it was just kind of a hard fight. Oh, the Pincurchin! Maybe that was why. The Pincurchin was giving me trouble. Who picks Pincurchin over Bolt? Is Pincurchin secretly better than Bolthound? I don't know. What is better, Pincurchin or Bolt? I'm looking it up right now. I need to know. Bolthound versus Pincurchin. What's better? Because, like, I think the last, like, he was just picking it out, like, with, the fight near the Hammerlock. He was just picking, like, he was, like, analyzing the best possible type matchups. And, like, with the battle where he brings back his double, he just doing it for the feels, not the... He wasn't analyzing what Pokemon is legitimately better. Okay, how good is Pincurchin? I need to know this right now. Is this Pokemon actually good? How good is this Pokemon actually? I guess the moveset is important to learn how good it is, but how good is it? Is it really? Well, let me see its. I want to see its stats. So it's a strange stat. So it's as trash speed. So it has, I guess it has medium everything except for speed and HP. I guess it has like a slightly better special attack than Bolt Hound, but Bolt Hound's faster, but it's less bulky, I guess. So it's basically a bulky attacker or something. I don't know, man. Maybe it is better than Bolt Hound. I mean, Bolt Hound will always go first, but Pink Churchin, like Pink Churchin is, you can use, like, vocabulary is all mixed up, but Bullhound has a better distribution of stats, but I don't know with Pink Churchin. I don't know with this thing. It also has water attacks for some reason. I don't know with this thing. I just don't know with this thing. I don't know what it's all about. It knows Venoshock. Veno. I don't know with this. I don't know which one's better. I think Bolt Hound might be better, but I just don't know. Although, maybe Pink Churchin is the better. I don't know. I don't know which one's better. I just don't know. But let's go back to the thing. So I'm just gonna move on to the next fight. So you got a good idea of what the hop fight's like with the flying type Monotype run. So the Pink Churchin gave me some trouble, but I don't think it gave me as much trouble as the Bolt Hound. Probably because it was slower than the Bolt Hound. So maybe that's an indication that Bolt Hound's better than Pink Churchin. So I guess the next fight after Hop is the next Marnie fight. So Marnie's up next. Marnie's in the bottom for some reason because I accidentally pressed X on her. Nah, this is... What's this? Where's Marnie? Marnie. Okay, here's Marnie. So Marnie... Yeah, so second... Yeah, okay, good. There was no Marnie fight in between all this. So the second Marnie fight... I don't think this gave me any trouble for some reason. Maybe because I had evolved Pokemon at this time, and before I had unevolved Pokemon, so the Morpeko wasn't as much trouble. So I didn't have a particularly tough time with this fight. Unless I think that the first fight is the hardest Marnie fight. At least when you're doing a flying Monotype run. But the second fight isn't that bad. So I guess Piers is up. Piers, I actually had a hard time with Piers. Where's Piers? Piers gave me a hard time. Specifically, I mean, I guess the Obstagoon... Let me look at this. I don't know, for some reason I remember the Skunk Tank give me a hard time for some reason. I don't know, my memory's a bit fuzzy with this fight. But I remember the Skunk Tank specifically give me a hard time. Maybe because, like, everything just wears down my team and Skunk Tank just sweeps everything. But, yeah, this fight is... It's no Nessa or Melanie, but... And it's also no Hop. No Hammerlock Hop or... It's like, it's about on the same level as... I think it's not as hard as Alistair either. I don't know where to put it. Where did I put it? How would I compare it to the others? Probably Let me think. Now that I think of it, it's probably as hard as the the first Marnie fight. Probably, because, like, I feel like there's a better fight to compare it to. But it's not entering my head. I think it's just, like, about the same difficulty as the first Marnie fight. If I had to compare difficulty. Like, it's a bump, but it's not a particularly huge bump. It's not easy either. Like, it might have took me 2 tries, it might have taken me 3 tries, it might have taken me 2 tries. I think it was 3 tries, actually. So I guess it's comparable to... I can't think. Maybe it's comparable to Chairman Rose. Like, even though Chairman Rose should be... Actually, no, my memory's a bit fuzzy on the Rose fight, but we'll get there when we get there. So that was a bit of a challenge with Pierre's. So the next fight was... Oh, Raihan. Actually, my memory's a bit fuzzy on Raihan also. I think... Maybe Raihan was as hard as... Okay, Raihan... No, Raihan was difficult. He had to have been difficult. He had, like, all these rock moves. He was difficult. My memory's a bit fuzzy on Raihan. If I had to compare it, like... The Rock Blast was a pain. The Stealth Rocks was a pain because I kept switching and I had I had to rely on my Corviknight a lot. Everything was a pain in this fight. Maybe it was as hard as the Alistair. No, I think it might have been harder than Alistair. Maybe it was as hard as Opal. Maybe like it was on the Opal Alistair type of level. Opal Alistair and Hammerlock Hop type of level. Like, there's, like, different tiers. There's the Melanie Nessa tier, and then there's, like, the Hammerlock Hop, and, Alistar, and Opal tier. I think it's about in the, Hammerlock Hop, Alistar tier. Like, maybe slightly above it. Maybe... Yeah, I think maybe above it, now that I'm thinking. Like, it's been a while. I'm recalling events from a while back. But I remember this being another hard fight. So I guess after Raihan is the final Marnie fight. No, it's not the final Marnie fight. Now that I think about the first Marnie fight might not be the hardest. I think the second to last Marnie fight... Well, I'll get there when we get there. Well, I don't know. Okay, let me think. I can't think straight. I'm trying to think. So Marnie 3 at the Pokemon League Marnie. Pokemon League Marnie is a joke. I think they had to make her Pokemon underleveled. Like this fight's easy in general. They had to make her. No way, she still didn't have Aura Wheel. I remember being traumatized by Aura Wheel, so maybe that fight was hard. Maybe that fight was hard because of, like, not that, whatever. This fight was easy. Her Pokemon are underleveled. Even though she has a Dynamax, this fight's still easier. Pokemon are underleveled for this part of the game, I'd say. And she had a lot of fighting types, so that made it easy. Like, her Morpeko wasn't as hard as as it was in the first fight, because my Pokemon were evolved even more so than before. So overall, this fight was easy. So next up was Hop, Pokemon League Hop. Pokemon League Hop. Pokemon League Hop was... He didn't beat me. It wasn't as easy as the Marnie fight, but... Pokemon League Hop... Like, I had a more developed team at this point, and I guess he switched up his moveset, kind of. So let me compare it to the other Hop. I want to compare the two Hops. So his moveset in the previous fight wasn't as good as this fight, but you get so strong at this. I don't know why the other one gave me trouble and this didn't. Oh, it was probably because I had Gyarados at this point. Yeah, Gyarados, catching if you catch a Gyarados, you can catch really high level Gyaradoses at this point of the game. I probably won't do this rule for this Monotype run. I had a rule that, like, if a Pokemon like Magikarp will eventually evolve into a flying type Gyarados, but I decided to not allow that to be the case. Because I made it so I couldn't catch Pokemon that had to be a flying type once it was caught. It couldn't be a Pokemon that evolved into a flying type. I'm going to change that rule next time. But I made it so I couldn't catch Magikarp, but I could catch Gyarados. And eventually I did catch Gyarados, and it was you can catch really over-leveled Gyaradoses right before the Pokemon League. And I think that really saved me. Like, what happened was I got into a corner, and I just used the red button Gyarados and sweep Hop. I think that might have been what happened, but his pink Churchin might have caused some trouble, but maybe that was why I didn't have any trouble with Hop this time. And also maybe his Pokemon were under-leveled for this part of the game, because they have a lot of they do back-to-back boss fights. So that was the Pokemon League Hop. And next is Olina. Olina, she was kind of difficult, slightly. What's Stompin' What type of move is Stompin' Tantrum? I never heard of that move. I never heard of Stompin' Tantrum. What the hell does that move do? I've never heard of the move Stompin' Tantrum. We learn something new every day, but I need to know what this is about. So basically, this seems like a lesser form of Earthquake, but which Pokemon know this? So only Mankey, Primeape, Cubone, Marowak, Alolan Marowak, Larvitar, Pupitar, Tyranitar, Golurk, and Guzzlord. Wait, this is a... How have I not seen this move? I feel like I should have seen that. I never heard of Stompin' Tantrum at all. This is like a Sun and Moon. Was it introduced in... It was introduced in Sun and Moon, and I never heard of the move Stompin' Tantrum. I don't know how I never heard of this move, but whatever. I guess it's on her Garbodor, but it makes sense I had never seen it because I was doing a fly. It makes sense I never seen it in this game, since I was doing a flying type run. The CPU wouldn't use a ground type move, so it makes sense I never seen this move in Sword and Shield, but But it doesn't make sense why I would never see that move in Sun and Moon. Okay. But this fight was hard. Her Frostlass gave me trouble. I remember with the Will-O-Wisp and stuff in her. The two Pokemon that really gave me trouble well, the three are her Frostlass, her Milotic, and her Garbodor. Her Milotic with the, I don't know, why did Milotic give me a, I think it was Recover that was giving me a hard time with the Milotic. But the Frostlass with the Burn-In, the Ice attacks, and the Hex, that was giving me a hard time. The Garbodor for just being a Gigantamax in general, and also he had like the Rock move. He had Rock moves, so that gave me trouble. I would put this on the same tier as Hammerlock Hop, Alistar, Opal, and Pierre's. I wouldn't put Marnie. I think Marnie's the first Marnie fight is below that, but is Pierre's that? I think Pierre's is about. I think this is harder than the Pierre's fight. I think this is harder than the Pierre's fight. I think it's harder than the Hop fight in that the Snow City. I forget what the Snow City is called. The one where you fight the Rock type or the Ice type gym leader. I think it's harder than that fight, but is it as hard as the Hammerlock Hop fight? I don't know. Maybe it's on the same. Maybe it's the same as the Hammerlock Hop fight, but I can't necessarily remember. This gave me a couple. I had to do like two or three tries, maybe four. Maybe not 4 tries. Maybe like 3 tries. Oh, come on. I hate when it does that. So, this was difficult. And next up was... yeah, that Icy Wind and that. So next up was... the next... it annoys me that they made the bead fight, not the final bead, well, the final bead fight before the post game, but this next bead fight. It was so easy. It was a cakewalk. Only 4 Pokemon. Really now? Only 4? I don't know why I didn't just give beat a Gardevoir like a Ralts or something instead of to foreshadow the fairy type, and I don't know why they didn't give him a Ralts, but Hatterane's Dynamax Gigantamax form looks kind of cool in this picture. I kind of like it. Makes me like it a bit more, but this fight was a cakewalk. Yeah, even though I had the Gyarados for the Olina fight, it was hard, so that must be saying something. So, this fight with Bead is a joke. It's easy. The next fight with Nessa, even though I think she had Rock-type moves, it was easy anyways. I don't know, where's Nessa? The Nessa fight was easy also. I don't think it was as easy as Bead, but I didn't lose to her. This fight was easy for some reason, even though she had Rock-type moves and everything, but it was easy. What was it? Oh yes, Alistar number 2. Was that... I'm debating whether the first Alistar fight or the second Alistar fight were harder. Well, okay, this is actually the only time I ever grinded in the wild for battle in this game. Because what I usually did was usually what I would do is I would just grind on the gym leader itself. I'll just grind on the gym leader. But for this one, I grinded in the wild because I wanted to evolve my Volbeat for this battle because I lost to. Maybe this fight is slightly easier than the first Alistar fight, but I want to grind my Volibee so it can evolve into a Mandibuzz. That was the evolution name. So it would evolve into a Mandibuzz. So, but I ended up not needing the Mandibuzz for the second try. I just kind of won. Probably because either Gyarados or... Oh, I won somehow. And next up was... The next Raihan fight. This Raihan fight was... I don't know what to think of it. I don't know what I forget. I forget if I even lost it. Did I win in my first try in this Raihan fight? I think I might have won my first try in this Raihan fight. I don't remember if I won or lost. Like, I don't know with this Raihan fight. Did I lose in this? Or did I win my first try? I might have. I don't know. My memory's fuzzy on this one. I barely remember anything about this fight, so maybe that's a sign that I won my first try, because usually I would remember if I lost to someone in this game. But after that is Rose. I lost to Rose maybe 2 times. Like, I think Olena's harder than him. I feel like the problem was I couldn't. I remember his Kling. I think the two. I forget. Did his Escalivir give me any trouble? His Escalivir might have gave me trouble for some reason. I don't know why. This fight, my memory's a bit fun. I remember Kling was a threat. He kept on using that Wild Charge. That was no good. Caparaja was kind of a threat. Was kind of hard because he was just... Caparaja was hard because he's just a Gigantamax, a powerful Gigantamax. I remember maybe I lost this twice. Maybe I lost him once. He's not as hard as Alistar. Like the first Alistar. He's like, or Hammerlock Cop. He's like he's like a first Marnie fight. He's like about as hard as the first Marnie fight, I'd say. So after that is the, I'm not even going to show, what was, Eternatus. Eternatus is easy. Everyone knows Eternatus is easy. Eternatus is a cakewalk. After Eternatus is Leon. Leon number 1. Leon was on the same level as Melanie and Nessa. Like, the unholy trinity in this game is Leon. The first Leon fight. This is the team he used against me, because I chose Sobble. People will say that this is his hardest team, and I believe it. I tried so many times. No, maybe this is harder than... Maybe this is technically harder than Melanie and Nessa, because I remember doing this a lot. Like, with Melanie and Nessa, I just kept on headbutting. I just kept grinding on the gym leader itself until I eventually won. I didn't really use much strategy for Nessa or Melanie. I just kept grinding on their Pokemon and getting XP from them. But with Leon, I actually had to change up my strategy. Basically, I just kept... what I planned on doing was setting up on Aegislash with my... Even though I didn't realize this till later on, even though Mandibuzz has terrible special attack, I was using Nasty Plot on it. And the Nasty Plot, I used it for other battles. I might have used that one on... I might have used that one on Raihan, maybe, or Rose. I think I actually used that on Rose. Yeah, I did use that on Rose. I Nasty Plotted Mandibuzz and kind of swept a lot of his team. Maybe that's how I won the Rose fight, but I tried to do that for Leon. Maybe because it worked on Rose. Oh yeah, that had to have worked on Rose if I did it on Leon. I did a lot on Leon, but it didn't do... It just wouldn't work because of the stupid Dragapult and the Rhyperior. For some reason, Rhyperior never used Heat Crash against me. I guess that wouldn't be an appropriate move to use against me since I didn't have many Pokemon that are weak to fire types. Even though I had a Corviknight, but... This fight was hell. Specifically, like, there's 3 Pokemon that make it hell. Like, Aegislash was kind of hard. Aegislash was hard, but the 3 Pokemon that gave me the most trouble... Like, I used Aegislash to set up. I tried to protect him using Like, he kept on using Kin Shield, and that gave me an opportunity to set up. But the 3 Pokemon that gave me the most trouble were Dragapult, Haxorus, and Charizard. Like, actually, no, Charizard... I only lost his Charizard once, but that was because it's his last Pokemon, and the Dragapult was the most threatening Pokemon because of the high speed with the Thunderbolt, and I had to basically tank his attacks and maybe sacrifice some Pokemon to beat him. But then I eventually came up with a strategy to, like, set up... The strategy I used eventually was to set up Dragon Dance on Gyarados and Ice Fang and Aqua Tail everything to death. That was eventually my strategy, and I kind of... like, I would set up... I forget how exactly it went down, but I set up on... I just remember setting up with Gyarados and sweeping a lot of his team. And switching out and setting up again on his, like... The weakest Pokemon on his team... On this team... has to be... the Rillaboom. The Rillaboom was a big help, because he kept on... Rillaboom keeps using Endeavor for some reason. Even though he's at full health. Like, the AI doesn't know how to handle Endeavor. I don't know why he didn't use Knockoff on me. He used Endeavor, even though it wouldn't work, and I kept on sending up Dragon Dances on his Rillaboom. And I swept his Charizard. So... That fight's on the same tier. It might be the hardest fight in the game. Like, I know in a normal playthrough this is the hardest fight in the game, but Nessa and Melanie were also really hard because I was just doing a flying type run. This fight's just hard in general. Melanie and Nessa were hard because I was doing a flying type run. I think this fight might be harder than Nessa and Melanie. Like, I think Nessa might be slightly harder than Melanie. I think if I were to do a top 3, it would be Leon, Nessa, and then Melanie. Nessa was really hard because I didn't have many options, but I'm not talking about the first Nessa fight. Not the second Nessa fight was not a joke, but it was easy. I'm talking about I'm referring to the first Nessa fight. If you're confused, so I beat this, and then we have the post game. I'm not even gonna bother putting up Swordward and Shieldberg. They were just jokes. They were easy. However, I am gonna mention, even though I stand by the fact that I'll always stand by that Hammerlock Hop is the strongest, is the hardest top fight. I actually lost once in this fight. Yeah, I think I lost once in every hop fight. Like, I would lose and I'd come back and win for this fight. I would lose and come back and win in this hop fight also, wherever this is. Like, I would lose to the Legend. Did I lose in the... I forget if I won in my first... I might have won my... Like, and I know in the first post-game hop fight, I lost and I came back and I won. For this, I might have actually won my first try. I might have lost. My memory is a little fuzzy with this one, but... And also, I was playing Shield, so he had Zanozenta. So I couldn't take advantage of my flying type. It was a Fairy Steel type. That's actually a decent type. That's pretty different. Is there what is he weak to? I'm gonna have to look it up later. But his champion fight, eventually I like now I challenged. I'm not even gonna go over the most of the I did all the gym leaders in the tournament. All of them are easy because at that they're under-leveled fights. All the tournament fights, the post-game tournament fights are easy because they're under-leveled. All of them. I'm not even gonna go over them individually. All of them are a cakewalk. I'm just gonna go over the Hop tournament post-game tournament fight and the Leon post-game tournament fight. So this one I lost in my first try because I think this one is hard. I don't know if I should count this as harder than I don't know if this one's harder than the one in the Slumbering Woods, but I'm not even wait, no, I have to bring this one up. There's so many varieties of this fight. This is the variety I went up against. So his Zacian gave me I guess I'll talk about the Zacian since it's a legendary. For some reason in the first the fight before this one, the non-tournament fight, I think what I did was I set up Dragon Dances on my Gyarados and swept his team. Yeah, I think I beat him in the first try in the Slumbering Woods one, but in the tournament one I didn't do that for some reason, and his Zacian just crippled me. I don't think I even got to the Corviknight in my first try against the tournament Hop, but then I eventually beat him in the second try. So he's about like first fight Marnie level. He's no Nessa or anything. No Nessa, no Leon. So next up was I tried to get the Leon. I was confused with the Leon rematch because I didn't know how to activate him, but eventually I learned that I had to beat him in the tower. I was a little scared because I remembered back to the Battle Frontier where you have to fight all these trainers on the road just to get to the the big bad Battle Frontier leader, whatever they're called. But I did the beginners tier. I forget which 3 Pokemon he sent out. I know he sent out his Charizard out, but I don't know which. Maybe I think he sent out Mr. Rhyme, Charizard, and I know he sent out his Mr. Rhyme and Charizard. Maybe Rillaboom. I think it was Mr. Rhyme, Rillaboom, and Charizard he sent out against me, but I could be wrong about the third. Maybe did he send out? I don't know. I just know he sent out Mr. Rhyme and Charizard against me in the beginner tier fight, and I didn't do the other tiers. I'm not crazy enough to do those. I ain't crazy to do those, but if you are, all the more power to you. But I don't like the battle. I don't like the. I know a lot of people like the Battle Frontier and Battle Tower and all that stuff, but I don't like starting from the beginning. Like, it's very, and having my Pokemon capped to level 50. I mean, I guess it's cool to have them capped to level 50 because you have to strategize. This Leon, I don't know why they made him lose a Pokemon in this fight. That's so kind of dumb that they got rid of one of his Pokemon in this fight, but this fight I did in the first try. I think it was a bit under-leveled. So, yeah, that's all the fights. So I'm going to rank the top 10 hardest fights. I'm going to do a top 10. So, I'm actually going to do for the top 10, like, hard. I'm going to rank in the hardest to the easiest. I'm just going to start from the top. Number 1, if I had a gun to my head that I had to pick the hardest fight for the Flying Monotype run, I would have to go for the first Leon fight because of that stupid Dragapult using. I tried that fight so many times. I grinded on Leon. Maybe if I grinded in the wild, I would have an easy time, but I grinded on Leon himself. So Leon just barely takes number 1. Number 2 is Nessa. She's the second hardest fight. Number 3, you can't do anything to that. Well, What's that dragon? I mean water rock Pokemon again. What's that called again? Trying to think it's the name. Dreadnought. You can't do anything to our Dreadnought. So I guess I'd put Nessa in number 2. Maybe Leon's the hardest in my head because he's the freshest in my head. But Leon's number 1, Nessa's number 2. Number 3 is... Number 3 is Melanie. She was very, very hard. Like, those are the unholy trinity right there. Number 4, I have to pick... Who would I pick for number 4? If I had to choose between Hammerlock, Hop, and Opal, who would I choose for number 4? Maybe... Number 4, I have to... My memory is fuzzy. Let me look at the moveset again. Let me remind myself why... I think... They're like on the same... If I had a gun strapped to my head... Who is harder? I think maybe I have to get the slightest edge to Opal for number 5. No, I mean number 4. Just because of the fact she has a Dynamax, and that I remember that giving me a hard time, and the Ancient Power rise, giving the stat boost to Togekiss. I don't know. It doesn't feel... I might have to give it to Opal for number 4. Should she be number 4? I don't know. Maybe if I did this video more recently, maybe I'd be thinking differently. But I think. Yeah, I gotta give Opal number 4 because of the lack of poison flying Pokemon. Maybe it should be easier if, Zubat was in the game. I'm glad I didn't include Zubat in this game. I'm so glad. So, number 4, Opal. Number 5, Hammerlock Hop. Number 6, I have to go with... Maybe Pierre's for number... No, maybe Alistar. Alistar for number 6. For number 7, I have to go for Pierre's, I think. Was Pierre's harder than... No. No. Okay, number 3. Okay, number 3 is, Melanie. Number 4 is Olina. Olina is... Yeah, I'm gonna give Olina number 4. So number 5 is... Opal. Number 6 is Hammerlock Hop. Number 7 is... Number 7 is... Alistar. Number 8 is Pierre's. Number 9 is... Oh yeah, the Marnie... I didn't go over it, but Marnie... The Marnie at Spikemouth was kind of... No, but Marnie on Spikemouth isn't hard enough to get on the list. But the... Not the first Marnie fight. Do I include the first Marnie fight? No, I don't think she's hard enough. I think Hop in that Snow City. No. Number 9. No, wait. number 9 should go to... No, I think... Number 9 should go to Piers, but number 8 should go to Chairman Rose. And number 10 should go to the Hop Slumber and Wood... No, not the Slumber and Wood. The Hop Tournament... The final Hop Tournament fight. So number 10 is the final tournament Hop in the post-game. Number 9 is... this is the top 10 hardest fights. So number 10, tournament Hop post-game. Number 9 is Piers. No, is Piers... No, I think Piers should be number 10. Number 10, Piers. Number 9, Hop in the tournament fight. Number 8 is Chairman Rose. Number 7 is Alistar. Number 6 is Hemlock Hop. Number 5 is Opal. Number 4 is Olina. Number 3 is Melanie. Number 2 is Nessa, first fight. And number 1 is Leon. So those are the hardest fights. I'm going to end the video here. So that was my experience with a flying type monotype run in Pokemon Sword and Shield. So I wish I recorded more of... I recorded it. I'm going to record all my challenge runs, all the boss fights from now on. I'm not going to do full series because it takes too long. I've done a Pokemon Platinum series, and that took 2 years. That took 2 years to make. I'm not going through that again. I'm just gonna record the boss fights of the challenge runs because I like that's what I watch the Pokemon Let's Plays for the boss fights. So I'm just gonna record the boss fights, not the playthrough. So yeah. Bye.